The Power of Now, by Eckhart Tolle, is a spiritual classic that teaches us how to live in the present moment and discover the peace and fulfillment always available in the now. This audiobook offers tools and practices to transcend the mind, connect with your inner being, and experience a profound transformation in your life. Chapter 1. You are not your mind. The human mind is a powerful tool, but often it has become a prison. We find ourselves trapped in a constant stream of thoughts that pull us away from the present moment. To experience true peace and freedom, it is essential to recognize that we are not our mind and learn to live in the now. Each of us has an internal voice that never stops talking. This voice continuously comments, judges, worries, plans, and remembers. However, this voice is not who we truly are. It is merely the activity of the mind. Many of us are so identified with this voice that we do not even realize we can observe it. Observing the voice in your head is the first step to disidentifying from it. When you start to observe your thoughts, you realize there is a separation between the observer, you, and the thoughts. This is the beginning of the awakening of consciousness. As you observe the mind, you begin to notice repetitive patterns and realize that many of your thoughts are merely old recordings playing over and over. Observing your mind does not mean judging it or trying to change it. It simply involves paying attention and noticing what happens. When you do this, you realize that you are not your thoughts. You are the conscious space in which thoughts occur. This act of observing without judgment allows you to disidentify from your thoughts and, in turn, reduces the power they have over you. As you practice conscious observation, thoughts begin to lose their strength and you start to experience moments of inner stillness and peace. The human mind has a natural tendency to focus on the past or the future. This creates an illusion of time that pulls us away from the present. The past and the future are mental constructs. The only real moment is the present. Everything that happens in the now. The past is a memory, a trace of old events stored in the mind. The future is a projection of the mind, an anticipation of what might happen. The only reality you have is the present moment, the now. When you realize this, you can start to free the mind from its focus on time and bring your attention to the present. To access the power of the now, you must learn to be present. The practice of mindfulness is a powerful tool to achieve this. When you are fully present, you are in touch with life itself. The now is where peace, joy, and true freedom reside. One simple way to practice presence is to pay attention to your breath. Breathing always happens in the present. By focusing on the inhalation and exhalation, you anchor your attention in the now. Another method is to observe any activity you are doing, no matter how simple, with full attention. Feel the texture of the soap as you wash dishes, listen to the sound of running water, feel the contact of your feet with the ground as you walk. This focus not only anchors you in the present, but transforms any mundane activity into a conscious meditation. The practice of presence is not something that is achieved overnight. It is a continuous process that requires attention and dedication. As you practice being present, you will notice that thoughts lose their power over you. You begin to experience moments of inner stillness and peace. This peace is not something that comes from the outside, but arises from your deepest being. True freedom is freedom from the mind. As you deepen in the practice, you will realize that you can be present in any situation. Whether in moments of tranquility or in challenging situations, presence allows you to be at peace. This does not mean that you stop thinking altogether, but rather that your thoughts no longer dominate you. You start to notice an inner space where you can observe your thoughts without identifying with them, and this space is the core of your being. The mind is a valuable tool when used appropriately. However, when the mind controls you, it becomes a source of suffering. Freeing yourself from the mind does not mean stopping thinking, but disidentifying from your thoughts. This allows you to use the mind effectively without being dominated by it. To achieve this, it is essential to practice presence regularly. As you become more present, you realize that most of your worries and fears are products of the mind and do not reflect the reality of the present moment. Presence allows you to see things clearly and respond consciously rather than react automatically. Over time, this practice transforms your relationship with the mind and the world. You begin to live in a state of continuous connection with the present, which allows you to experience a deep sense of peace and fulfillment. Life ceases to be a series of problems to be solved and becomes a dance of meaningful moments, fully lived in the now. Chapter 2. Consciousness, the way out of pain. Consciousness is the key to freeing yourself from the mind and living fully in the present. This chapter explores how to develop and deepen consciousness, allowing you to transcend the mind and experience the true essence of your being. For many people, life is dominated by the mind. Living in a state of consciousness means not being swept away by the thoughts and emotions that constantly flow through you. Instead, you stay rooted in the present moment, observing everything that arises without identifying with it. Consciousness cannot be fully understood through the mind, as it transcends thought. It is a direct experience, a presence that goes beyond thinking. When you are conscious, you realize that you are the observer behind the thoughts, the space in which all events occur. Most people are so identified with their thoughts that they cannot see this deeper dimension of consciousness. They think they are their thoughts, and therefore, their lives are controlled by an endless stream of mental activity. This identification with the mind creates a false sense of identity, an ego that feels separate and isolated from the world. The ego feeds on negative thoughts and emotions, such as fear, anxiety, and resentment. These mental states perpetuate a cycle of suffering, keeping you trapped in a reality created by the mind. To free yourself, you must recognize that you are not your mind and begin to disidentify from it. One of the most effective ways to develop consciousness is through the body. The body is always in the present, and by directing your attention to bodily sensations, you can anchor yourself in the now. This is known as body awareness. To practice body awareness, start by paying attention to your breathing. Feel the air entering and leaving your lungs. Then, direct your attention to other parts of the body, one at a time. Feel the sensations in your hands, feet, abdomen. This practice helps you disconnect from the mind and immerse yourself in the present. Another useful practice is inner listening. Instead of focusing solely on external sounds, pay attention to the internal sounds of your body. Feel the flow of energy within you. This not only anchors you in the present, but also connects you with the vital essence of your being. Meditation is a powerful tool for cultivating consciousness. It is not about emptying the mind, but about observing it without identifying with it. In meditation, you simply sit and observe whatever arises, without judging or clinging to it. There are many forms of meditation, but they all share the same goal: to bring you into the present moment. You can focus on your breathing, repeat a mantra, or simply observe your thoughts and emotions as an impartial witness. The key to meditation is consistency. It does not matter how long you meditate each day. What matters is doing it regularly. Over time, the practice of meditation will integrate into your daily life, and you will begin to live in a state of continuous presence. The practice of consciousness is not limited to formal meditation. You can bring it into all areas of your daily life. Every moment is an opportunity to be present. When you are eating, truly savor the food. When you are talking to someone, listen attentively without thinking about your response. When you are walking, feel the contact of your feet with the ground. Daily life is full of moments you can use to practice consciousness. The more you do this, the more it will become your natural state of being. You will begin to notice a profound transformation in the way you experience life. Situations that used to cause you stress or anxiety will lose their power over you, and you will live in a state of inner peace and clarity. Relationships are a particularly important area for practicing consciousness. Often, our interactions with others are dominated by unconscious mental and emotional patterns. These patterns create conflicts and misunderstandings that could be avoided if we were more present. To bring consciousness into your relationships, start by really listening to the other person. Do not just listen to their words, but also to their energy and emotions. Feel the presence of the other human being beyond their external appearance and behavior. Consciousness also involves being aware of your own reactions and emotional patterns. Observe how you respond in interactions and what thoughts and emotions arise. This observation allows you to break old patterns and act from a place of presence and love. Consciousness not only transforms your individual life, but also has an impact on collective consciousness. As more people awaken and begin to live in the now, the collective consciousness of humanity rises. This collective awakening is crucial for overcoming the global challenges we face. When you live in a state of consciousness, you become a beacon of light for others. Your presence positively influences those around you, helping them awaken as well. This is the true power of now. It not only transforms your life, but also contributes to the awakening of all humanity. Chapter 3. Moving deeply into the now. The only moment that truly exists is the now. However, the mind is always trying to pull us away from the present, either by reliving the past or anticipating the future. In this chapter, we will explore how to move deeply into the now and live fully in the present. The mind has a natural tendency to focus on the past or the future. This creates an illusion of time that pulls us away from the present. The past and the future are mental constructs. The only real moment is the present. Everything that happens in the now. The past is a memory, a trace of old events stored in the mind. The future is a projection of the mind, an anticipation of what might happen. The only reality you have is the present moment, the now. When you realize this, you can start to free the mind from its focus on time and bring your attention to the present. Living in the now is the key to experiencing true peace and happiness. When you are fully present, there is no room for fear, anxiety, or stress, as these are products of the mind that arise when you focus on the past or the future. To access the power of the now, you must learn to be present in each moment. This involves paying attention to what is happening in your surroundings, as well as your thoughts and emotions. The practice of mindfulness is a powerful tool to achieve this. When you are fully present, you are in touch with life itself. The now is where peace, joy, and true freedom reside. One simple way to practice presence is to pay attention to your breath. Breathing always happens in the present. By focusing on the inhalation and exhalation, you anchor your attention in the now. Another method is to observe any activity you are doing, no matter how simple, with full attention. Feel the texture of the soap as you wash dishes, listen to the sound of running water, feel the contact of your feet with the ground as you walk. This focus not only anchors you in the present, but transforms any mundane activity into a conscious meditation. The mind has a strong resistance to being in the present. This is because the mind feeds on time. It needs the past and the future to survive. When you bring your attention to the present, the mind feels threatened and tries to distract you with thoughts about the past or the future. The mind's resistance to the now can manifest in many ways. You may notice that your mind starts to wander, recalling past events or planning for the future. You may also feel a sense of restlessness or anxiety when you try to be present. It is important to recognize these resistances and not let them discourage you. The practice of presence is not something that is achieved overnight. It is a continuous process that requires attention and dedication. As you practice being present, you will notice that thoughts lose their power over you. You begin to experience moments of inner stillness and peace. This peace is not something that comes from the outside but arises from your deepest being. True freedom is freedom from the mind. As you deepen in the practice, you will realize that you can be present in any situation. Whether in moments of tranquility or in challenging situations, presence allows you to be at peace. This does not mean that you stop thinking altogether, but rather that your thoughts no longer dominate you. You start to notice an inner space where you can observe your thoughts without identifying with them, and this space is the core of your being. There are several techniques you can use to anchor yourself in the now. One of the most effective is meditation. It is not about emptying the mind, but about observing it without identifying with it. In meditation, you simply sit and observe whatever arises, without judging or clinging to it. Another powerful technique is the practice of gratitude. When you feel grateful, you focus on the blessings of the present moment and move away from worries about the past or future. You can practice gratitude by making a daily list of things you are grateful for, or simply taking a moment to appreciate what you have now. Conscious breathing is another useful tool. Paying attention to your breath anchors you in the present and helps calm the mind. You can practice conscious breathing at any time of the day, simply by focusing on the inhalation and exhalation. Psychological time is the time that the mind creates through worrying about the past and anticipating the future. This type of time is the main cause of suffering, as it pulls us away from the present moment. To free yourself from psychological time, you must learn to distinguish between chronological time and psychological time. Chronological time is the time we use to plan and organize our lives. It is useful and necessary for functioning in the world. Psychological time, on the other hand, is the time that the mind creates through unnecessary thoughts and worries about the past and future. To free yourself from psychological time, you must practice being present in the now and reduce your dependence on chronological time. This does not mean you stop planning or fulfilling your responsibilities, but that you focus more on the present moment and less on the worries and anxieties that arise from psychological time. Consciousness is the key to being in the now. When you are conscious, you are aware of your thoughts and emotions without identifying with them. This allows you to live in the present and experience life as it is, without the distortions of the mind. To develop consciousness, you must practice observing your thoughts and emotions. This does not mean judging them or trying to change them, but simply observing them with an attitude of acceptance and curiosity. As you develop this skill, you become more aware of your mental and emotional patterns and can begin to disidentify from them. Living in the now allows you to experience a deep inner peace. When you focus on the present, you free yourself from worries about the past and future and find tranquility and contentment in the now. This inner peace does not depend on external circumstances but arises from your connection to the present moment. Inner peace is the natural result of living in the now. When you are present, you realize that life is perfect as it is and that you do not need anything else to be happy. This realization allows you to live with a sense of gratitude and joy, regardless of external circumstances. Chapter 4. Mind Strategies for Avoiding the Now. The human mind has a natural tendency to avoid the present moment. It prefers to cling to the past or anticipate the future rather than being fully present in the now. In this chapter, we will explore the common strategies the mind uses to avoid the present and how we can overcome them to live in the now. The mind is designed for survival. Its primary function is to solve problems, plan for the future, and learn from the past. However, this orientation towards time creates a barrier to experiencing the present moment. The mind is always looking for something more, something better, rather than being content with what is here and now. The mind uses several strategies to keep us out of the present. These strategies are so habitual that we often do not even realize they are operating. Identifying these strategies is the first step to overcoming them and bringing our attention to the now. One of the most common strategies the mind uses to avoid the present is constant distraction. This can include being always busy, compulsively checking your phone, watching excessive television, or any other activity that keeps you occupied. Distraction prevents you from facing the present moment and the emotions that may arise. To overcome this strategy, it is important to pause and allow yourself to be with yourself without distractions. This may be uncomfortable at first, as you may face feelings and thoughts you have been avoiding. However, this practice is essential for cultivating presence. Worry and anxiety are strategies the mind uses to keep us focused on the future. The mind creates hypothetical scenarios and worries about them, even if they never come to pass. This constant worry pulls us away from the present and creates a sense of unease. To overcome worry and anxiety, it is helpful to practice conscious breathing and meditation. These practices anchor you in the present and help you see anxious thoughts for what they are, products of the mind, not reflections of reality. Additionally, practicing gratitude and focusing on the positive aspects of the present moment can help counteract the tendency to worry about the future. Another common strategy is clinging to the past. The mind can get stuck in memories and regrets, constantly reliving past events. This creates a cycle of suffering, as it prevents us from moving forward and fully experiencing the present. To free yourself from the past, you must practice forgiveness and acceptance. This does not mean condoning or justifying what happened, but recognizing that you cannot change the past and choosing to let it go. The practice of mindfulness can also help bring your attention to the present instead of allowing the mind to get stuck in the past. The mind often seeks constant acquisition, more success, more possessions, more experiences. This pursuit keeps us dissatisfied with the present and always wanting something we do not have. The idea that we need more to be happy is an illusion created by the mind. To overcome this strategy, it is helpful to practice gratitude and contentment. Appreciating what you have in the present helps you realize that you do not need more to be happy. Meditation and mindfulness can also help you recognize and let go of the constant need for more. The mind often engages in judgment and criticism, both towards ourselves and others. This behavior keeps us trapped in a cycle of negativity and pulls us away from the present. Judgment and criticism are defense mechanisms the mind uses to feel superior or protect itself from pain. To overcome judgment and criticism, we must practice compassion and acceptance. This means being kind and understanding towards ourselves and others, and recognizing that we are all doing the best we can in each moment. The practice of mindfulness can also help us become more aware of our critical thoughts and replace them with more positive and loving thoughts. Compulsive thinking is another strategy the mind uses to avoid the present. The mind is constantly producing thoughts, many of which are repetitive and unnecessary. This compulsive thinking keeps us busy and prevents us from experiencing the present moment. To overcome compulsive thinking, it is helpful to practice observing thoughts without identifying with them. This means watching the thoughts that arise in the mind as if they were clouds passing through the sky, without holding on to them or judging them. Meditation is a powerful tool for developing this skill and calming the mind. Finally, the mind often resists the present because it is not how it wants it to be. This resistance creates suffering and prevents us from accepting and enjoying the present moment as it is. Resistance to the present can manifest as dissatisfaction, frustration, or a desire for things to be different. To overcome resistance to the present, it is important to practice radical acceptance. This means accepting the present moment as it is, without trying to change it or resist it. Acceptance does not mean resignation or complacency, but recognizing that this moment is all we have and choosing to be at peace with it. Chapter 5. The state of presence. The transformative power of presence. Presence is the state of being fully conscious and attentive to the present moment. When you are in a state of presence, your mind is quiet, and you are completely connected to life. This state has a transformative power, as it allows you to experience the peace, joy, and freedom that are inherent to your true self. The state of presence is not something you can achieve through effort or willpower. It is a natural state that arises when you stop identifying with your thoughts and emotions. By bringing your attention to the present moment, you free yourself from psychological time and connect with the now. The depth of the now is much deeper than it appears at first glance. It is the portal to a dimension beyond time and space, where the true essence of your being resides. In the now, you can experience a profound connection with life and with everything that exists. To access the depth of the now, you must be willing to let go of your thoughts and concerns about the past and the future. This requires practice and patience, as the mind is accustomed to constantly moving in time. However, as you practice presence, you realize that the now is the only real moment and that peace resides in the now. Awareness without thought. One of the characteristics of the state of presence is awareness without thought. This does not mean that you stop thinking completely, but that your thoughts no longer dominate you. Instead of being trapped in a constant flow of thoughts, you can observe them from a distance, without identifying with them. Awareness without thought is a state of calm and clarity. In this state, your mind is quiet, and you can experience the peace and stillness that are always present in the now. This stillness is not something you create but something you discover by letting go of identification with your thoughts. Practicing presence. Practicing presence involves bringing your attention to the present moment whenever possible. This can include paying attention to your breath, observing the sensations in your body, or simply being aware of your surroundings. Every moment is an opportunity to practice presence and deepen into the now. One effective practice is to pause regularly throughout the day to take a few deep breaths and bring your attention to the present. This can be as simple as stopping for a few seconds to feel your breath and notice the sensations in your body. These conscious pauses help you break the cycle of constant mental activity and anchor yourself in the now. Presence in action. Presence is not limited to moments of stillness and meditation. It can also be brought into action. When you do any activity with full attention, you are practicing presence. This can be as simple as washing the dishes, walking, or talking with someone. Doing things with full attention means being completely present in what you are doing, without allowing your mind to wander into thoughts about the past or future. This transforms any activity into a meditation and allows you to experience life more fully and consciously. Presence in relationships. Relationships are a powerful opportunity to practice presence. Often, our interactions with others are dominated by unconscious mental and emotional patterns. These patterns create conflicts and misunderstandings that could be avoided if we were more present. To bring presence into your relationships, start by really listening to the other person. Do not just listen to their words, but also their energy and emotions. Feel the presence of the other human being beyond their external appearance and behavior. This practice of conscious listening can transform your relationships and create a space of peace and mutual understanding. Presence in adversity. Adversity is a powerful test for the practice of presence. When you face challenges and difficulties, it is easy to be carried away by fear, anxiety, and worry. However, these are precisely the moments when presence is most needed. Facing adversity with presence means being fully present with what is happening, without resisting it or trying to escape from it. This does not mean that you passively accept difficulties, but that you face them with a clear mind and an open heart. Presence allows you to see things clearly and respond more consciously and effectively. The peace that arises from presence. The peace that arises from presence is a deep and lasting peace. It does not depend on external circumstances but arises from your connection with the present moment. When you are present, you realize that life is perfect as it is and that you do not need anything else to be happy. This inner peace is the natural result of living in the now. It is not something you have to seek or achieve, but something you discover by letting go of identification with your thoughts and emotions. The peace that arises from presence is true freedom, as it frees you from worries about the past and the future and allows you to live fully in the present. Chapter 6. The Inner Body. Connecting with the inner body. The inner body is a portal to the now and a powerful tool for accessing presence. By being in touch with the inner body, you connect with a deeper dimension of your being. This connection allows you to experience life more fully and consciously and anchors you in the present moment. To connect with the inner body, it is important to direct your attention inward and feel the sensations in your body. This can be as simple as noticing the energy and vitality that flow through you. This practice helps you disconnect from the mind and immerse yourself in the present. Feeling the inner body. Feeling the inner body involves bringing your attention to the internal sensations and being present with them. This does not mean thinking about the body but feeling it from within. When you direct your attention to the inner body, you become aware of a sense of aliveness, a subtle energy that flows throughout your being. A simple way to start is to pay attention to your breath. Feel the air entering and leaving your lungs. Then, direct your attention to other parts of the body, one at a time. Feel the sensations in your hands, feet, abdomen. This practice helps you anchor yourself in the present and develop a greater connection with your inner body. The Inner Body Meditation. The Inner Body Meditation is a powerful practice for deepening presence. You can do this meditation at any time of the day, simply by bringing your attention to the inner body and feeling the sensations that arise. This meditation helps you calm the mind and connect with the essence of your being. To start, sit in a quiet place and close your eyes. Bring your attention to your breath and feel the air entering and leaving your body. Then, direct your attention to the sensations in your hands and feet. Feel the subtle energy flowing through these parts of the body. Gradually expand your attention to include your entire body. Feel the energy and vitality flowing through you, anchoring you in the present. The inner body and health. Being in touch with the inner body not only anchors you in the present, but also has health benefits. When you are connected with your body, you can detect and release tension and blockages before they become health problems. Inner body awareness allows you to maintain a state of balance and well-being. Additionally, the practice of feeling the inner body can help you develop a greater awareness of your physical and emotional needs. This connection allows you to take better care of yourself and make healthier decisions. Inner body awareness is a powerful tool for self-regulation and well-being. The inner body as a portal to being. The inner body is a portal to a deeper dimension of your being. By being in touch with the inner body, you connect with the essence of your being, beyond the mind and emotions. This connection allows you to experience a sense of peace and fulfillment that transcends external circumstances. To use the inner body as a portal to being, simply bring your attention to the body and feel the internal sensations. Stay with these sensations without trying to change or judge them. As you deepen in the sensation of the inner body, you become aware of a deeper presence, a peace and fullness that are always present in the now. The energy of the inner body. The energy of the inner body is a manifestation of life itself. This energy flows through you and connects you with the essence of your being. By being in touch with the energy of the inner body, you realize that you are not just a physical body but an expression of universal life. To feel the energy of the inner body, bring your attention to different parts of the body and notice the subtle sensations that arise. Feel how the energy flows through you and connects you with the present moment. This practice helps you develop a greater awareness of your inner being and experience life more fully and consciously. Inner body awareness in daily life. Inner body awareness is not limited to formal meditation. You can bring this practice into all areas of your daily life. Every moment is an opportunity to be in touch with your inner body and anchor yourself in the present. When you are eating, pay attention to the sensations in your body and savor each bite. When you are walking, feel the contact of your feet with the ground and the energy flowing through your legs. When you are talking to someone, remain aware of your breath and the sensations in your body. These practices help you stay present and connected with your inner body in any situation. The peace that arises from the inner body. The peace that arises from the connection with the inner body is a deep and lasting peace. It does not depend on external circumstances but arises from your connection with the present moment. When you are in touch with your inner body, you realize that life is perfect as it is and that you do not need anything else to be happy. This inner peace is the natural result of living in the now and being in touch with your inner body. It is not something you have to seek or achieve but something you discover by letting go of identification with your thoughts and emotions. The peace that arises from the connection with the inner body is true freedom, as it frees you from worries about the past and the future and allows you to live fully in the present. Chapter 7. Portals into the Unmanifested. Understanding the Unmanifested. The Unmanifested is a dimension of existence that transcends the physical and mental world. It is the realm of the unmanifested, the source of all life, and the place where profound peace and stillness reside. This chapter explores how to access the unmanifested and experience presence beyond form and thought. The unmanifested cannot be understood by the mind, as it transcends thought and form. It is the space where the true essence of your being resides. By accessing the unmanifested, you connect with the source of all life and discover the peace and stillness that are always present in the now. The portal of the inner body. The inner body is one of the portals into the unmanifested. By being in touch with the inner body, you can transcend the mind and experience the presence that resides beyond form. This connection allows you to access the realm of the unmanifested and experience the profound peace that is always present. To use the inner body as a portal into the unmanifested, direct your attention to the internal sensations and feel the energy flowing through your body. Stay with these sensations without trying to change or judge them. As you deepen in the sensation of the inner body, you become aware of a deeper presence, a peace, and a fullness that transcend external circumstances. The portal of silence. Silence is another portal into the unmanifested. The mind is always busy, creating thoughts and concerns. However, beyond mental activity, there is a space of stillness and silence. This space is the portal to the unmanifested and the true essence of your being. To access silence, it is helpful to practice meditation and mindfulness. These practices help calm the mind and connect with the space of stillness that is always present in the now. When you become aware of this stillness, you realize that you are more than your thoughts and emotions. You are the presence that observes everything that arises. The portal of surrender. Surrender is another portal into the unmanifested. Surrender does not mean resignation or giving up, but accepting the present moment as it is, without resisting or trying to change it. This acceptance allows you to let go of the control of the mind and open up to the presence that resides beyond thought. To practice surrender, you must be willing to accept what is, without judging or resisting it. This involves letting go of your expectations and desires and opening yourself to the experience of the present moment. Surrender allows you to access the unmanifested and experience the peace and stillness that are always present in the now. The portal of space. Space is another portal into the unmanifested. Space is not just the absence of objects but a living presence that connects you with the now. By being aware of space, you realize the deeper dimension of existence and access the realm of the unmanifested. To use space as a portal into the unmanifested, direct your attention to the space around you. Notice the space between objects, the space between sounds, and the space within you. This focus helps you transcend form and connect with the presence that resides beyond the mind and body. The portal of stillness. Stillness is another portal into the unmanifested. Stillness is not just the absence of noise but a living presence that connects you with the now. By being aware of stillness, you realize the deeper dimension of existence and access the realm of the unmanifested. To use stillness as a portal into the unmanifested, direct your attention to the stillness around you. Notice the stillness between sounds, the stillness between words, and the stillness within you. This focus helps you transcend thought and connect with the presence that resides beyond the mind and body. The portal of love. Love is another portal into the unmanifested. Love is not just an emotion but a living presence that connects you with the now. By being aware of love, you realize the deeper dimension of existence and access the realm of the unmanifested. To use love as a portal into the unmanifested, direct your attention to the love you feel for yourself and others. Notice the love in your relationships, the love in your actions, and the love within you. This focus helps you transcend separation and connect with the presence that resides beyond the mind and body. The peace that arises from the unmanifested. The peace that arises from the unmanifested is a deep and lasting peace. It does not depend on external circumstances but arises from your connection with the present moment. When you are in touch with the unmanifested, you realize that life is perfect as it is and that you do not need anything else to be happy. This inner peace is the natural result of living in the now and being in touch with the unmanifested. It is not something you have to seek or achieve but something you discover by letting go of identification with your thoughts and emotions. The peace that arises from the unmanifested is true freedom, as it frees you from worries about the past and the future and allows you to live fully in the present. Chapter 8. Enlightened relationships. Relationships as a spiritual practice. Relationships are one of the most challenging and transformative areas of life. They can be a source of great joy and growth, but also of conflict and suffering. In this chapter, we explore how relationships can become a spiritual practice and how you can cultivate enlightened relationships based on presence. When you approach relationships as a spiritual practice, you see them as opportunities for growth and awakening. This involves being present with the other person and with yourself, and using interactions as a way to practice awareness. Through this practice, you can transcend unconscious patterns and experience greater connection and love in your relationships. The projection of the ego. The ego plays a significant role in creating conflicts in relationships. The ego feeds on separation and identification with thoughts and emotions. It projects its own fears and desires onto others, creating a distortion in how you perceive people and situations. To overcome the projection of the ego, it is essential to be present and observe your thoughts and emotions without identifying with them. This conscious observation allows you to see the patterns of the ego and let go of the need to project them onto others. By doing so, you can experience greater clarity and compassion in your relationships. The importance of presence in relationships. Presence is fundamental for cultivating enlightened relationships. Being present means being fully attentive and aware in your interactions, without letting your mind wander into thoughts about the past or future. This mindfulness creates a space of connection and mutual understanding. To practice presence in your relationships, start by really listening to the other person. Do not just listen to their words, but also to their energy and emotions. Feel the presence of the other human being beyond their external appearance and behavior. This practice of conscious listening can transform your relationships and create a space of peace and mutual understanding. Practicing acceptance. Acceptance is an essential part of enlightened relationships. Accepting others as they are, without trying to change or judge them, creates a space of love and respect. This acceptance does not mean tolerating bad behavior, but recognizing the divine essence in each person. To practice acceptance, it is helpful to remember that everyone is on a path of growth and learning. No one is perfect, and everyone makes mistakes. By accepting others as they are, you can let go of the need to control or change and allow relationships to flourish naturally. Love as presence. True love arises from presence. It is not a fleeting emotion but a deep expression of your being. When you are present, you can experience love in its purest and most authentic form. This love does not depend on external circumstances but arises from your connection with the now. To experience love as presence, it is helpful to practice gratitude and appreciation for others. Appreciate the qualities and positive actions of the people in your life, and focus on what you love about them. This practice of gratitude helps you see the divine essence in others and cultivate a deeper and more authentic love. Transforming pain in relationships. Pain and conflict are inevitable in relationships, but they can also be opportunities for growth and transformation. By facing pain with presence and acceptance, you can transcend unconscious patterns and release suffering. To transform pain in relationships, it is essential to be present with your emotions and allow yourself to feel them without judging or resisting them. This acceptance allows you to release the pain and find greater peace and understanding. Additionally, practicing forgiveness and compassion helps you heal wounds and create a space of love and connection. Presence in intimate relationships. Intimate relationships are a powerful opportunity to practice presence. In these relationships, unconscious patterns and ego projections can arise with greater intensity. However, they are also an opportunity for deeper connection and spiritual growth. To practice presence in intimate relationships, it is important to be aware of your thoughts and emotions and communicate openly and honestly with your partner. This conscious communication creates a space of mutual understanding and support. Additionally, practicing acceptance and unconditional love allows you to experience a deeper and more authentic connection. The peace that arises from enlightened relationships. Enlightened relationships are a source of peace and joy. When you are present and practice acceptance, love, and compassion, you can experience greater connection and harmony in your relationships. This peace does not depend on external circumstances but arises from your own presence and acceptance. This inner peace is the natural result of living in the now and being present in your relationships. It is not something you have to seek or achieve but something you discover by letting go of identification with your thoughts and emotions. The peace that arises from enlightened relationships is true freedom, as it frees you from worries about the past and the future and allows you to live fully in the present. Chapter 9. Beyond happiness and unhappiness there is peace. The transient nature of happiness and unhappiness. Happiness and unhappiness are emotional states that depend on external circumstances. Happiness arises when things go well and your desires are fulfilled, while unhappiness arises when things do not go as expected. However, both states are transient and subject to constant change. To experience a deep and lasting peace, it is necessary to go beyond the pursuit of happiness and the avoidance of unhappiness. This peace does not depend on external circumstances but arises from a deep connection with the present moment. By being fully present, you can discover a peace that transcends the duality of happiness and unhappiness. The mind's role in happiness and unhappiness. The mind plays a crucial role in creating happiness and unhappiness. Your thoughts and beliefs about circumstances determine how you feel at any given moment. The mind constantly compares what is with what should be, creating a gap that generates dissatisfaction and suffering. To transcend happiness and unhappiness, it is essential to observe your thoughts and beliefs without identifying with them. This conscious observation allows you to see the patterns of the mind and let go of the need to control or judge circumstances. By doing so, you can experience a deep peace that does not depend on the fluctuations of the mind. Accepting the present moment. Acceptance of the present moment is key to going beyond happiness and unhappiness. Accepting what is, without resisting or trying to change it, allows you to find peace in any situation. This acceptance does not mean resignation, but recognizing the reality of the present moment and being at peace with it. To practice acceptance, it is helpful to be present with your thoughts and emotions and allow yourself to feel what arises without judging or resisting it. This acceptance allows you to release suffering and find deep peace in the now. Additionally, practicing gratitude and appreciation for the present moment helps you see the beauty and perfection in what is. Peace beyond the mind. The peace that transcends happiness and unhappiness cannot be understood by the mind, as it goes beyond thought and form. It is a state of being that arises when you stop identifying with your thoughts and emotions and connect with the presence that is always present in the now. To access this peace, it is essential to practice meditation and mindfulness. These practices help calm the mind and connect with the presence that resides beyond thought. By being present, you can discover a deep and lasting peace that does not depend on external circumstances. Freedom from psychological time. Psychological time is a major source of unhappiness. The mind creates an illusion of time, focusing on the past and the future and pulling you away from the present moment. This illusion of time generates anxiety, worry, and suffering. To free yourself from psychological time, you must practice being present and bringing your attention to the now. The practice of conscious breathing and meditation helps anchor you in the present and release worries about the past and future. By doing so, you can experience a peace that transcends time and circumstances. Inner peace through presence. Inner peace arises from presence. When you are present, you realize that life is perfect as it is and that you do not need anything else to be happy. This peace does not depend on external circumstances but arises from your connection with the present moment. To experience this peace, it is essential to practice acceptance, gratitude, and compassion. These practices help you let go of the need to control or change circumstances and find peace in what is. By being present, you can discover a deep and lasting peace that transcends the duality of happiness and unhappiness. Peace that arises from connection with being. The peace that arises from connection with being is a deep and lasting peace. It does not depend on external circumstances but comes from your connection with the essence of your being. When you are in touch with your inner being, you realize that you are more than your thoughts and emotions, and that peace is your natural state. To connect with your inner being, it is helpful to practice meditation and mindfulness. These practices help calm the mind and connect with the presence that resides beyond thought. By being present, you can discover a deep and lasting peace that does not depend on the fluctuations of the mind. Peace in relationships. Peace in relationships arises from presence and acceptance. When you are present with others and accept people as they are, you can experience greater connection and harmony in your relationships. This peace does not depend on others' actions or behaviors but comes from your own presence and acceptance. To cultivate peace in your relationships, it is essential to practice conscious listening and compassion. These practices help you see the divine essence in others and let go of the need to control or judge. By doing so, you can create a space of peace and love in your relationships. Peace is a natural state. Peace is your natural state. It is not something you have to seek or achieve, but something you discover by letting go of identification with your thoughts and emotions. This peace arises from your connection with the present moment and the essence of your being. To experience this peace, it is essential to be present and practice acceptance, gratitude, and compassion. These practices help you let go of the need to control or change circumstances and find peace in what is. By being present, you can discover a deep and lasting peace that transcends the duality of happiness and unhappiness. Chapter 10. The meaning of surrender. The nature of surrender. Surrender is the act of accepting the present moment as it is, without resistance or struggle. It does not mean resignation or giving up, but recognizing the reality of now and being at peace with it. Surrender is key to experiencing deep and lasting peace, as it frees you from suffering and allows you to live fully in the present. Surrender is a state of consciousness that transcends thought and form. It is an openness to life as it is, without trying to change or control it. By surrendering to the present moment, you discover a peace that is always available, regardless of external circumstances. The resistance to the present moment. The human mind has a natural tendency to resist the present moment. This resistance creates suffering and prevents us from experiencing the peace and joy of now. The mind is always trying to change or control circumstances, creating a gap between what is and what should be. To overcome resistance to the present moment, it is essential to practice acceptance and surrender. This involves letting go of the struggle against what is and opening up to the experience of now. The practice of mindfulness and meditation can help you develop this acceptance and be at peace with the present moment. Surrender and action. Surrender does not mean inaction or passivity. On the contrary, when you surrender to the present moment, you can act from a place of inner clarity and peace. This conscious action is more effective and powerful because it is not driven by fear, anxiety, or the desire for control. To practice surrender in action, it is helpful to be present with your thoughts and emotions and allow yourself to feel what arises without judging or resisting it. This acceptance allows you to release suffering and act from a place of peace and clarity. By doing so, you can experience greater effectiveness and satisfaction in your actions. Surrender in relationships. Surrender is especially important in relationships. Often, we try to control or change others, creating conflicts and misunderstandings. Surrender in relationships means accepting people as they are, without trying to change or control them. To practice surrender in relationships, it is essential to be present and truly listen to others. This conscious listening creates a space of mutual understanding and support. Additionally, practicing compassion and unconditional love allows you to see the divine essence in others and let go of the need to control or judge. Surrender and inner peace. Surrender is key to experiencing inner peace. When you surrender to the present moment, you free yourself from worries about the past and the future and find peace in what is. This peace does not depend on external circumstances but arises from your connection with now. To experience this peace, it is essential to practice acceptance and gratitude. These practices help you let go of the need to control or change circumstances and find peace in what is. By being present, you can discover a deep and lasting peace that transcends the fluctuations of the mind. Surrender to being. Surrender to being is a surrender to the essence of your being, beyond thought and form. This surrender allows you to experience a deep connection with your inner being and discover the peace and fullness that are always present in now. To practice surrender to being, it is helpful to bring your attention to the presence that resides beyond your thoughts and emotions. This presence is the essence of your being, the deepest dimension of your existence. By surrendering to this presence, you discover a peace and fullness that transcend external circumstances. Surrender to life. Surrender to life is an acceptance of reality as it is, without resistance or struggle. This surrender allows you to flow with life and experience greater harmony and peace. By surrendering to life, you discover that everything is perfect as it is and that you do not need anything else to be happy. To practice surrender to life, it is essential to be present and accept what is, without trying to change or control it. This acceptance allows you to release suffering and find peace in what is. By being present, you can discover a deep and lasting peace that transcends the fluctuations of the mind. The peace that arises from surrender. The peace that arises from surrender is a deep and lasting peace. It does not depend on external circumstances but arises from your connection with the present moment. When you surrender to now, you realize that life is perfect as it is and that you do not need anything else to be happy. This inner peace is the natural result of living in now and practicing surrender. It is not something you have to seek or achieve but something you discover by letting go of identification with your thoughts and emotions. The peace that arises from surrender is true freedom, as it frees you from worries about the past and the future and allows you to live fully in the present. Surrender as a path of transformation. Surrender is not an act of weakness but a path of transformation and spiritual growth. By surrendering to the present moment, you release resistance and suffering and open the door to greater peace, love, and understanding. This transformation not only impacts your life, but also the lives of those around you. Surrender allows you to live in harmony with life and experience a deep connection with everything that is. It is an act of yielding to the flow of life, allowing the wisdom and intelligence of the universe to guide your actions and decisions. This yielding not only brings inner peace, but also greater effectiveness and satisfaction in your actions.